Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you an unboxing plus on-feet video of the brand new Puma King 2, also known as the Puma King 2014, in the limited edition Camo colorway. Now as you can see, this comes in a really nice drawer-style box. It's black in color. You have your King branding right there, and it features that kind of polka dot pattern in the form of a sphere on the outside of the box that matches what you're going to find on the shoes. Pretty sure this box is exclusive to this colorway, and on the inside they do include a string bag, but again, this is a limited edition release. More on that in just a second, so I'm not sure if the regular Puma Kings are going to feature this box as well as a string bag. I would guess that they probably won't. So the string bag, as you can see, black in color with white polka dots on either side, black strings on the bag. One side of the bag features your Puma branding, the other side features your King logo, as you guys can see. So we'll get that out of the way. And other than that, all you're going to find inside the box are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these out of the box really quickly and take a closer look at a shoe that I'm honestly really excited about. The previous Puma King model was more or less a flop. Nobody was really excited about it when it first came out about 2 years ago now, and it really has kind of flown under the radar ever since. It's a shoe that kept getting new colorway releases that nobody really cared about. I didn't really feature them on the channel because I knew there was very little interest, and it wasn't a bad shoe, it just wasn't a Puma King. The Puma King, for those that don't know, it's kind of the historic model within Puma's soccer line. It's been around forever, and they've kind of modernized it since that release in 2012. And essentially what we're getting here for the Puma King 2 or the Puma King 2014 is a refined version of what we got in 2012. And I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the refined elements that they've included on this brand new model, and I'm actually very optimistic as to how it's going to perform. Now this is the limited edition Camo colorway, only 575 pairs worldwide in this particular color. So if you are interested in a pair of these for yourself, they are still available. Check out the review page on my website, link down below in the description. Like I said, 575 pairs worldwide. So either if you want these as a collector's piece or just a very exclusive pair of shoes to wear that nobody else out there on the field is going to have, check out that link down below in the description. Get them while you can if you're interested. And in today's video, we're going to go over all the details as far as the colorway is concerned and all the tech specs that you should know regarding the new Puma King 2. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. To start things off, let's talk about the colorway. Now this is the pre-release version of the Puma King, where it features kind of camouflage graphics on the outside. Puma likes to do this whenever they come out with a brand new model. A week or two prior to the official launch color, they come out with a camo version that you can buy. Generally they're in limited quantities. These are very limited, 575 pairs worldwide, but they do cost you a premium to get this particular colorway. This one has a retail price of $230 US, which is pretty pricey for this style of shoe. In comparison, the launch colorway, which is that blue with the lime green and white, the launch color of the Puma King 2, that has a retail price of $150. So will every colorway after that. So like I said, you are definitely paying a premium for this colorway, but again, at the same time, you're paying a little bit for that exclusivity of having only one of 575 pairs worldwide. So if you really like the color, you don't mind paying a little bit extra, you're still getting a Puma King 2, just with some slightly different and certainly very unique graphics. Now, as you can see, it's pretty much all black and white all over, which I'm actually a very big fan of. The front portion of the shoe that is pretty much just straight up leather, as you can see, is all white. The tongue is a combination of white and black, mostly black. You have your Puma branding on either side with this kind of sphere polka dot pattern, I guess is kind of what they're going for. You're also going to find that on the rear portion of the shoe. And then the little kind of strips right here down the middle that kind of cover up the EverFit cage lacing system, if you will. Those are solid black, as you can see the perforations through there. And I actually really like how this looks. It kind of shows off the design, the kind of technological elements of the shoe, but at the same time it hides them a little bit as well. On the back you can see you have a little bit of white, a little bit of black. The heel counter is also half white and half black. And then on the sole plate, it's like semi-translucent. You have that polka dot pattern kind of peeking through with black studs and black accents throughout. So as far as the colorway is concerned, it's not for everybody. Oh, polka dots on the insole as well, which you guys will get a closer look at later in the video. But again, if you like the look of the polka dots, if you like something that is plain and simple black and white, but at the same time with a little bit of flair, this is definitely a colorway to consider. I think they look pretty good. Leave your opinions on them down below in the comment section. As far as tech specs go, if you're familiar with the 2012 Puma King, you're probably asking yourself, what is the difference? What have they actually changed? Because visually, the two shoes are definitely very similar. So, as far as the upper goes, it's still made from the same full grain calfskin leather. It's not a kangaroo leather, but what you're getting this time around, I definitely do feel is a little bit nicer. One of the major problems I had with the previous Puma King, which is what I have right here in yellow and black, was not so much the quality of the leather, but where it was positioned on the shoe. You had this Puma branding here, which as you can see is black on both the lateral and medial side, and that was made from a very thin kind of non-padded synthetic material, and you can see it cut away at the leather. So the instep and the forefoot area of the shoe did not feature any leather. It was a thin synthetic, which to me was not what I was looking for from a Puma King, and especially not what I was looking for from what's supposed to be viewed as a heritage boot. You want that all over leather feel, and that's something they've definitely improved with this new model. It still has the Puma branding in kind of those key positions, but it's just an overlay of thin synthetic that isn't going to take away from the padded leather sensation, which is kind of what you're looking for if you're buying into the whole Puma King concept. Now, another thing that I like about this new King model, and another thing that they've improved upon coming from the original, is the actual lining on the inside. It's nothing fancy, but on the original I had this really clunky liner, almost like what you would find on a takedown model, but on the new one it has a much thinner, slimmer liner that feels more comfortable against the foot and just makes the leather feel softer and more flexible overall, simply because it's thinner and not creating as much bulk on the inside of the shoe. Now, one thing to note about this particular colorway that I don't believe is the case on the official colorways of the shoe is that this rear portion appears to be synthetic, whereas on the colors that I've seen, the launch color anyway, just from looking at the pictures online, this area of the shoe appears to be leather, which it is not on this particular colorway. So there definitely will be some variation between this color and the launch one, but the one that I will be reviewing and posting a video on very, very shortly, so stay tuned for that, will definitely be on the launch color as opposed to this one, because that's the one that most people are going to get their hands on anyways, but no big deal. I don't think it's going to have a major impact on the overall performance. Another major change that they've made here is in the lacing system. You can see on this one, there's this little plastic piece right here that kind of implies something special with the actual lockdown system, but it isn't actually anything special. It's simply there for looks, just to give it more of a modern feel overall. Whereas this time around, you can see you have these kind of loops that protrude from inside of the upper. There's perforations there, so you can see a little bit of what's going on, but essentially you have a band that runs from the base of the sole plate into these two lace loop holes that pop out from the inside of the upper. You have it on both the lateral and medial side, and the way to think of it is almost like the energy sling found on the NitroCharge 1.0, where you have a band that runs from the base of the sole plate into the lacing system. Instead of being in the forefoot, it's in the midfoot, and it's there to lock your foot in place, keep it securely inside the shoe, prevent it from moving around, and it's also going to help the shoe to maintain its shape really, really efficiently. So really curious to see how that is actually going to feel. I think it's a really good concept, and a good lockdown system that adds very minimal extra bulk to the shoe, which is something that I'm very happy about. The tongue is a thin synthetic material with pretty much no extra padding, which is pretty different from the padded feel that you're actually going to get from the leather upper. So kind of curious to see how that is going to feel. It's got the same cut in the ankle area. It's not a low cut shoe. It has kind of a more traditional feel to it overall. Nice and kind of supportive and substantial around the rear portion of the shoe. And another improvement that I noticed right off the bat when I tried on the new Puma King 2 is that on the original Puma King, it was very open and seemed to be quite wide around this area of the shoe, the heel. Just the opening around the sides, a little bit too wide for me, and a lot of people had issues with heel slippage. It wasn't necessarily an uncomfortable shoe, but it didn't have that premium fit that you would expect from a top-end model, especially from a big brand like Puma. This time around, it's definitely slimmed down a little bit, not to the point where it's too tight, but just to the point where it's tight enough to where it has that premium fit. And again, I have no complaints just right off the bat from when I tried them on. The inside heel liner is a textured synthetic material with a decent amount of padding, so step-in comfort should not be an issue. Speaking of step-in comfort, the insole is fully removable and pretty much hasn't changed from the previous model, so no complaints there really. And this one features obviously the polka dot pattern all the way all over it. It does have a mesh liner on top, and it's made from a single layer of pretty thick, fairly dense foam material. There's some kind of extra foam through the center of the insole, where the outside is a little bit slimmer. But overall, it's a nice insole, provides some really good underfoot cushioning, and again, it just makes for a nice comfortable fit overall. The heel counter has been tweaked a little bit. It's very, very similar. This one is ever so slightly taller. It's kind of difficult to see when they are side by side, but there definitely is a difference. Not sure if that's going to make any kind of a noticeable change as far as how these shoes feel and perform. And then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern, that is the one element of this shoe that really has not changed at all, coming from the previous Puma King. And again, I don't really have any complaints here. It's made from a very flexible Pebax material. It's got a wider kind of base to it, as you guys can see, especially through the midfoot, and it does seem to have a wider fit overall. Stay tuned for more info on that. And as far as the stud pattern goes, it's kind of a modern take on a classic stud pattern, where instead of being all conical studs, which you do have some of here in the forefoot in this little triangular shape, or this little triangular pod they've made here, it's pretty much just a standard layout: 4 on the outside, 3 on the inside, 1 support stud in the middle, and then 4 under the heel. But instead of being perfectly conical studs, they're kind of square or rectangular, however you want to call them. But they have some kind of rounded edges, so you're kind of getting the best of both worlds here as far as grip when pushing off, but still having maneuverability when your foot is planted. So again, nice low profile, firm ground stud pattern. No complaints with the first one. Shouldn't have any complaints with the second variation. And again, I just think that they've made some really nice improvements coming from the previous Puma King model, which, like I said, was not a bad shoe, but certainly wasn't what people were expecting. In terms of weight, the Puma King 2 certainly isn't the lightest shoe around, but it isn't a heavy one either. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. Going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 9.3 ounces. So right at that 9 ounce mark, just a little bit over in comparison to its competition. It's slightly lighter than what you're going to find from the Adidas 11 Pro, and just ever so slightly heavier than what you're going to find from the Nike Tiempo Legend 5, which are obviously going to be its 2 main competitors. If I'm completely honest, all 3 shoes that I just mentioned are very similar to each other in weight. You're not going to notice much of a difference when the shoes are on your feet. And from a shoe of this particular type and style, the 9 ounce mark is kind of what you would expect, to where it doesn't feel heavy, but it still has a nice solid feel, and of course has a high quality leather upper, which is really all you can ask for from the new Puma King 2. So no complaints whatsoever regarding the weight. Alright, here's a look at the Puma King 2s on feet, and I have to say, just from first impressions, I'm impressed with these shoes and very optimistic as to how they're going to break in and just perform in general. They're very comfortable, as you'd expect from a shoe like this, but with that said, they are a little bit stiffer than I was honestly expecting. All in all though, there definitely is a noticeable improvement coming from the 2012 Puma King, and like I said, I'm just really happy with how they fit and feel from right out of the box. Break-in time required, but that is to be expected. As far as the fit of the shoe is concerned, it's leather at the front, so it is soft. There's a decent amount of width in the forefoot as well as in the toe box area, whereas the midfoot, because of this EverFit cage system they've incorporated, does have a slightly tighter fit, but nothing that feels restrictive or too tight or anything like that. And then the heel, it feels like most soccer shoes. My heel feels locked in. It's not too wide, and again, it's a nice improvement over what we got from the 2012 Puma King. So this is one of those shoes that is pretty much going to fit everybody. I'm going to assume that the leather will stretch a pretty decent amount just based on how it feels and the liner they've incorporated this time around. And again, if you have wide feet, this definitely seems to be a pretty solid option and a very comfortable option. As far as sizing goes, unlike the Evo Power line and the Evo Speed line from Puma, these run 100% true to size. I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of brand new Puma Kings, either in the camo colorway or the launch blue, lime green, and white colorway, I would strongly recommend going true to size for the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing of the brand new Puma King 2 for 2014, and I have to say I'm really excited about this shoe. I think that they've made all the necessary improvements over that 2012 model. Yes, it's still calfskin leather as opposed to kangaroo leather, but honestly the quality seems to be very, very good. I don't really have any complaints regarding the quality. The fit of the shoe is great, it's comfortable. I like this new EverFit cage support system they've incorporated into the midfoot, and the stud pattern and sole plate I thought was good on the original, and a nice carryover on the Puma King 2. So overall, very optimistic to see how these things are going to perform, and hopefully, if you guys watch my channel frequently, you know that the Legend 5 from Nike is currently my favorite model. I think that this shoe could potentially knock it off, or at least come very, very close. So stay tuned for more info on this shoe. I am planning on getting the launch color, which I believe is slightly different from this variation, very, very soon. Look out for that video to go up on my channel, hopefully within the next week or so. In the meantime, if you guys want to check out the review page on my website, there will be a link to that down below in the description. You'll find the high quality images of this shoe here that'll give you a better idea as to some of the close-up details, the full written review once I'm done testing these things out, as well as buy it now links with the best prices online, including exclusive SR4U coupon codes, allowing you to pick up either this, the limited edition Camo colorway, or the launch colorway of the Puma King below their retail prices. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. If you have any questions at all regarding the brand new Puma King, because I'm sure there will be some, leave those down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. And also, if you have any video idea suggestions, leave those down below in the comments as well. Always curious to hear what you guys want to see as far as content is concerned. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. That would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.